This is your third time facing the Clippers this postseason. What's different this time around than the first two times that you've obviously played them going into this matchup?
We have Kai.
It's that simple?
Yeah, I mean, no. The whole team is different, the whole team, like I always say, same answer, we have great chemistry. We're playing great together. But, Clippers, they have an amazing team. They have unbelievable talent. So every game is going to be really tough.
Beyond you and Kai, what do you feel like's clicked with this roster since the trade? Or trades, I should say.
I think I get this question after every game, but I think our chemistry is at the top. We're playing defense great, and we're playing great basketball.
Does Kai seem like he's on a mission to you?
Who?
Kyrie.
Oh, Kyrie. He's always on a mission, right? He's playing. But he's been playing amazing. Like I always say, on the court, off the court, he's helping a lot of guys. He's talking to us, so he's been a great addition since last year, and I'm really happy that we have him.
Was there a moment where you and him, the light bulb went off and you said, hey, this is going to work?
I mean, I know it since the beginning. It's Kyrie. It's Kyrie Irving, Everybody knows how he can play basketball, and I knew it since the beginning.
Luka, how much does postseason success matter in the legacy of great players in NBA history to you, and when you think about that, what stands out about that?
You win championship. That's it. It's very important, right? It's the most important part.
In terms of preparation, I know some guys change their routine a little bit up for the playoffs. Some guys get off social media. Is there anything that changes for you once this time of the year rolls around?
No, I don't really have a routine.
How do you feel physically?
Simple guy.
How much did the time off help?
I forget. Yeah, it helped a lot. Not being playing helps a lot. It gets a couple extra days. Get rested, get your mind right, and get ready to go.
Luka, the fans sold out every game this season once again. What does that mean to you, just the Mavericks fan base? How much they love the team?
Everything, There are 6 men, and they help us a lot. Even when we were down, I remember some games they stayed, they cheered us up to some wins. But it's amazing. I expect to be a great atmosphere in the playoffs, and man, they've been amazing since my first year.
The Clippers have struggled with pace and teams playing faster. You guys have been working on that since the very beginning of the season. You feel like you've been preparing for a Clippers series like that, and how much is pace going to affect?
We just had our first practice, so we watched some film, we prepared, but I ain't gonna give you guys what we're gonna do, right?
Luka, I know as a team y'all have one objective, but what do you tell the guys like Max and Derek who are going into this for the first time?
Playoffs are fun. For me, they're very fun, very intense. Playing for 48 minutes every game, but just enjoy it. You never know if you're gonna come back or not. Enjoy every moment of the game.
Luka, how does it feel winning the scoring title this season?
Great, amazing.
Luka, hablando de intensidad, tu defensa ha sido la mejor desde que llegaste a la NBA. ¿Qué puedes hablar sobre eso?
Sí, he dado un paso adelante, así que creo que he mejorado muchísimo este año.
In terms of facing the Clippers, there's been a lot of changes on both teams through the years. The two constants for the Clippers are obviously Paul George and Kawhi. What's the biggest takeaway that you've had from competing against those two guys in particular in the playoffs?
Amazing players, man. I mean, those two, they play well together, and everybody knows what they can do offensively and defensively. So I say every game is going to be tough. I mean, those two guys are amazing players, and it's going to be tough to stop them.
What kind of impact has Derrick Jones had on this team?
Big impact, especially defensively. He's been stopping guys a lot, and his pace, his verticality, and his shooting, actually. He's been shooting very well. So his impact is very important for this team.
How much different does this team feel than the other teams you've entered the playoffs with?
We're in present, so we can talk about this team. So I feel very good about this team.
Dante Exum was playing, averaging 6 minutes for the first 8 games. Was there a moment that you realized how important he was going to be this season as his role began, increasing?
I mean, he was very important. obviously he still is. His defense, his pace on the offensive end, and his shooting. People trying to dare him to shoot, but he's been working. He's been working hard, and you can see the improvement. And he's been a key, if not one of the big keys to our winning.
What does it mean to you?
Last one.
What does it mean to you guys to have Lively back with the team? And I know he talked the other morning to you guys personally. What did that mean for you guys?
Big. He's a great kid. And having him back is a big moment. And we just gotta all help him. We're with him. We are his second family, and we can all help him and make him feel comfortable.
Thanks.
Luka.
Yep.
Your first time going into the playoffs, what have Kyrie and some of the other players told you? What kind of advice have they given you?
The games are going to be a lot more physical. Every possession matters. And for the most part, we just got to stick together and just be positive about every situation. So,
I know you brought the defense every night, but how do you explain 25% shooting from three in your first 18 or so, and then 40% over the last 11? Is it just getting comfortable? Like, what do you think happened?
I think for me, obviously playing in Charlotte, I had a different role. I was shooting a lot of above-the-break threes, and here it's a lot more corner. So just trying to switch it up, and obviously been getting a lot of work in, and just trying to be consistent with it. So.
PJ, Coach Kidd said that some of the vets stepped up during practice today to speak to y'all about preparing for the playoffs. Who spoke, and what was their message that they gave you guys?
Luka, Kai, Tim, and Keith, and pretty much everything I just said earlier. Just sticking together. Each game is going to be tough, but at the end of the day, we're all we got. So just try to stay locked in and stay focused, and pretty much just make sure you have a good supporting cast around you, whether it's your family, your loved ones, whoever it is, and just make sure everybody's on the right page.
I get the feeling that you do follow other NBA playoff series, and you probably watched them through the years. Do you remember anything from watching Mavs Clippers, either in the bubble or when they played the next year?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't really watch a lot of playoff basketball because I wasn't participating, so kind of pissed off about that. But I'm here now, so it's all good.
You can just channel all that.
Yeah, for sure,
okay.
Definitely.
All right.
It's hot in here.
Y'all hot?
Damn. I'm about to start sweating.
You played a lot in the East. You probably played against Kyrie more than some of these guys did. What does he seem like as a teammate as opposed to an opponent, and does he seem locked in, especially so now?
I think as an opponent, just playing against him, you never know what he's going to do. He has a counter for everything, so no matter what defense you got to throw at him, he's comfortable. So just being able to be his teammate, I get to see it on a nightly basis and see how frustrated people get trying to guard him. So he's just been a great mentor, a great leader, and a great big brother to kind of everybody here. So I'm happy I'm on his team. I'm happy he's here helping us out for sure.
Along those lines, what's it been like for you to play with Luka?
Same thing. I feel like he's one-on-one the toughest person to guard in the league. So just being able to see him each and every night, just kill matchups and just do what he does and be special is just amazing. And like I said, going into the playoffs with those two guys rolling and us rolling as well, it's gonna be exciting for us.
Considering the numbers he has put up, are you surprised he's not getting a lot of strong MVP recognition, so to speak?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, the number he's put up, nobody's ever done it. So definitely a special season for him and a special season for us as well. So yeah, it's messed up, but it is what it is.
I think when people talk about this team, they talk about the additions with you and Gafford, but what kind of contributions have guys like Dante and Gary Jones made to this team?
They've been great. Since I've got here, just to be able to see them each and every day, they've helped me and Gaff a lot. Just being able to talk to us out there and just being able to defend multiple positions on that end, I feel like they're doing as good a job as me and Gaff. They're just not getting their names called, but like I said, I think we all do a great job of sticking together and being a team, and those two guys have done a great job of that as well.
You guys had that stretch where you lost 5 of 6. The defense was really struggling. Was there an adjustment or a change or a message from somebody that really changed it up? The defense really turned it on at the end of the season.
That was a while ago, so honestly I don't remember, but I feel like we definitely got closer in that stretch, and we kind of brought it in and started being aggressive and being able to talk more on the defensive end. I think when we don't talk, it's a lot easier for guys to score, obviously. But when we do talk, we're lights out on that end.
You mentioned being upset and not watching the playoffs when you didn't make it in Charlotte. What does making the postseason for the first time mean to you?
It means everything. Obviously, here to make it in Dallas, my hometown. A lot of family and family and friends are going to be there. So I'm just excited. I mean, it's a dream come true for me, and I can't wait to get it going.
How many tickets are you going to need for that game 3?
Well, I mean, tickets kind of expensive, so I don't know yet. So we still figuring that one out.
You mentioned the advice that the vets kind of gave to you and the team as well, but what keeps you kind of present in the moment as you head into the playoffs for the first time?
My family. I mean, they keep me grounded. I got 3 little boys, and I'm their biggest role model. So coming home to them each and every day and seeing smiles on their face means the world to me. And at the end of the day, this is just basketball, and life is way bigger than that. So they keep me grounded and definitely doing it all for them.
PJ, what have you thought about playing for Coach Kid so far?
He's been great. I mean, I've got to watch him as a kid growing up here. So to see him as a point guard and obviously winning a championship here and then being able to be coached by him is just, like I said earlier, a dream come true. And being able to dissect all the stuff he does and pick his brain about a bunch of different stuff. So, I mean, I just think it's a luxury having him here, and I'm glad he's here.
PJ, with playing the Clippers, what would you say that the biggest challenge going into this series is?
For us, being able to play defense the whole game and just being physical on that end and just trying to disrupt everything they do on that end, honestly.
You mentioned watching Kid growing up here and all that. What do you remember about the whole community rallying around the championship year? You were young, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about what that meant to this community? What did it mean to you to be a basketball fan and watch that happen in 2011?
I felt great. I mean, obviously being from here, being here, and them winning a championship here meant the world to me, and I wasn't even a part of it. So, I mean, now it's great. I mean, just to be able to feel the energy around the town and being able to go for a playoff run, it just means the world. And then, obviously back then, I mean, it was a whole different structure, seeing Dirk and Kid and a bunch of all those guys. So, I mean, I'm just excited to be able to be in that position today.
You mentioned your 3 boys that look up to you. When they get a little bit older and they're facing challenges and obstacles, what will you tell them on how to overcome the hard times?
Believe in yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of times people lose confidence, but, I mean, there's no reason to lose confidence. I mean, we put the work in each and every day, and this is all we've worked for our whole lives, so just don't lose confidence.
How did you keep your confidence going? You got off to a slow start shooting-wise here.
I mean, I know who I am. I've been putting the work in from day one, so at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's basketball, and I'm going to miss some. I'm not going to make them all. So just be able to take the next shot and not think about the last one.
We saw Derek out there. What's he able to do at this point?
Yeah, he participated in practice, and we'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Full practice?
Yeah, he did.
He did everything?
Yeah, he did everything.
Okay.
So we'll see how he feels tomorrow. He looked good.
For this time of year, how do you balance preparation, resting guys? You know, you got probably a week between games, along with scouting, preparation, and just getting ready for game 1.
Yeah, I think just understand there's a lot of film, and as players sometimes we get antsy watching film, but I thought the guys did a great job today of being patient, understanding what part of the season we're at with the playoffs, and understanding the detail of what we're asking to do. So there's a combination of being able to watch film, talk about the details, and then being able to get on the floor and be able to get up and down. I thought the guys did a great job today, and then we'll see how Thursday goes.
Jason, you mentioned the details of the playoffs. Can you speak to the intensity and the difference of what it feels like on the floor in comparison from regular season games to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think just the physicality, paying attention to the details. We're playing a really good team in the Clippers. 4 future Hall of Famers. They're well coached. T. Lue is one of the best coaches in the league, and just understanding that you're trying to get these guys to their second or third move, but they're still good enough to make those shots. So just trying to get them out of their comfort zone, and then being able to rebound the ball. We talked about the things we've done here in the last 20 games. continue our habits on the defensive end and then also on the offensive end. So we've shown that we can play defense at a high level. Now it's a matter of doing it during the playoffs.
It's obviously a different team than the last 3 matchups against the Clippers earlier in the season. Do you think that gives your team an advantage because they don't have, I guess, the film from those games to kind of prepare for?
Yeah, I don't know if it's an advantage. They haven't had the opportunity to see this team. So on film, the coaching staff will do their part. They have vets over on their side, a lot of playoff experience. So is it an advantage? I don't know if it's an advantage. We'll find out in game 1 if it's an advantage. But I think it's, being able to, play the game at a high level. At this time of the year, it's about, what team makes the mistake at the wrong time and capitalize on it. And so, again, for us, our vets talked today about what the playoffs are all about, and I thought they did a great job with the messaging.
Can you give us a window into the last year for you, from what transpired last year to this year, and how you may have changed and grown as a coach, and what has done to help this team get to this point where they are now?
Yeah, 2 different teams, 2 different situations. Just understanding, it started with being able to play faster, asking Luka, can we play faster? We were 28th in pace last year. We're 7th this year. The game became easier for him, but for everyone else. We make a change. Nico added more talent. Our defense got better. When you look at the last 30 games, I think we're second in defense. And so being able to carry out the message, the guys did that at a very high level. And so talking about change, being able to change with the team, looking at last year's team was different than this year's team, a little bit more athletic. I think comfort level, starting with our 2 leaders. When you look at Kyrie and Luka, I thought the trip to Abu Dhabi and Madrid was big for the team, and you could see that.
What's it like for you, Jason, to have a guy like Luka that if you guys need a bucket, he can go get that bucket?
Luka, yes, it's nice to have someone like that who can get a bucket, but also make a play for a teammate. And so his ability to score is at a very high level in this league, but also his playmaking is extremely high. And then his trust with his teammates, understanding the double teams that he will see, being able to get the ball to the right guy and trusting that his teammates are going to make the right play.
So what's one thing that you learned from your first playoff run that you would share with guys like Derek and Alex?
To enjoy it. You're not promised to make the playoffs. The hard work that you put in for this season has helped the team achieve one of its goals, but to understand that playoffs aren't always guaranteed, that you're doing the right thing, continue to keep working hard, but enjoy the moment. Embrace, ask as many questions as you can as you get going in this first series against the Clippers.
You mentioned that pace that you try to get this team to play with since the very beginning of the season. Clippers have struggled with pace of season, but everything kind of slows down in the playoffs. How do you keep them pushing the pace in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. When you talk about the playoffs, it tends to slow down. For us, we don't want it to slow down. We got to continue to keep playing with that pace, understanding, using our depth, using that to our advantage. That's something that has helped us this season, and that's something that we got to lean on in this series. Is being able to keep the pace up, being able to run, not letting their defense get set. They're very good on the defensive end. They got great hands. They're going to swipe. They come up with a lot of steals. They play the passing lanes at a very high level. This group that we're playing against, the Clippers, their basketball IQ is extremely high. They've seen everything, so we have to take care of the ball, but we do want to get out and run.
You just mentioned your defense over the last 30 games. When you boil down those 2 trades and what made them work, is that where it starts? How it changed you all defensively?
Yeah, I think it will start there, but I think also just our ability with D Live on the floor, we saw glimpses of our defense, playing at a high level. It's just, when you are bigger, it just helps because when you can rebound the ball on a miss with PJ, D Live and Maxi, it just helps. Nothing against when our smalls are in there. It's just harder to rebound when we do get that missed shot. And that's something that when we made the trade, it's definitely helped us with our bigger groups.
Speaking of your defense, Jason, what kind of impact has Derrick Jones had on the defensive end?
He's been great all year. He's taken the challenge of being assigned the best wing, perimeter scorer. He's never complained. He comes out and does his job at a high level. He's going to be he's going to have his hands full in this series because it's not just one. They have quite a few of them over there. So, but again, there's nothing that we're asking him not to do. Just we need him to be himself and play the game at a high level.
You mentioned some of the veterans spoke to mind. That's asking who spoke.
No, that's not. You can ask them.
Well, on that front, though, I'm sure that the Clippers have an advantage. I haven't added up the playoff experience, and I'm sure they have more of it than you do.
I would go out on them, yeah.
How good is it to be able to lean on a few of your guys like Irving, who have, and Luka for that matter, who've made deeper playoff runs?
Yeah, I think it's. They probably do have a little bit more experience in the playoffs. I think this is, being able to be in this situation to gain that experience for our younger players is big. When you talk about D-Live and Omax, Hardy, these guys who haven't had the opportunity to participate in the playoffs, you look at, being able to help them through different situations of understanding what to do and what not to do. And it doesn't always relate to on the floor. It can also be off the floor. And so this is good for Smooth and Kai, Luka. I would also put Exum in there. Not use the European, experience. So there are quite a few guys that have experience. But I think when you look at the group, Gaff and PJ, they're going to lean on those guys too, and that's how we're built, is for these guys to ask questions, but also listen, and they've done a great job, since they've been here.
I know a lot of people talk about the matchups on the floor, but it seems like there's also a matchup on the sidelines. You coaching against Ty Lue. Could you just speak to, that dynamic and just trying to, figure out what he's going to be countering with during the series of the playoff run?
Yeah, he's great. He's going to throw out some different things. We've seen a lot of different things this season on the defensive end when the double teams are starting Zubac on Luka. So his creativity is at a very high, and we'll be prepared for that. But Ty is one of the best coaches in this league. He's won a championship. I don't know if he's won Coach of the Year. He's probably deserved to win Coach of the Year, but just his experience, he's played the game at a high level. He's won a championship as a player. So this is a great challenge for both coaches to find a way for their teams to win.
This is your first introduction into the Mavs Clippers trilogy now as it is. What do you remember from the first two times that these teams played each other in terms of any memories that stand out to you from what you saw in those two series against those intensive opponents, as I say?
It came down to the end. Just understanding both teams know what they're going to run. Both teams, the stars are going to be stars. Luka was pretty good in those series. I remember Boban started in a series, and so or one of the games, I should say. But it was just a matter of swings, and so that's what happens in the playoffs. And whoever swings last tends to win. And the Clippers, swung last, and they won both of those series.
Coach Kidd, you've played and you've coached at the highest level, going all the way to the NBA Finals. What would you say is the number one thing that separates contenders that go all the way from pretenders that get bounced early?
That's a good question. I think luck, health, being able to take advantage of mistakes. It's not pretenders. It's just you've run into a better team. Sometimes you lose to the team that does win the championship. So it's hard to say pretenders because it's hard to get to this next season. And so you just sometimes run into a team that was hot. We've gone through that in our first year here. When we played Utah, I don't think anybody really had us pinned in or penciled in to make it to a Western Conference Finals. But we found a way because we got hot at the right time.
Do you remember a year or an early round matchup like this has 4 Hall of Famers on one side and probably 2 on another, 6 in an opening round series? When you play and coach, do you remember anything like that this early?
Yeah, maybe my first year in Brooklyn coaching. I had quite a few Hall of Famers, and we played Toronto, which when you look at DeRozan and Lowry, probably they'll be future Hall of Famers too. So I might have had 2 or 3 Hall of Famers when you talk about Paul Pierce and Garnett. It happens, but that's what the game is all about. You want to go against the best, and we have opportunity to go against the Clippers, and we consider them one of the best teams in the league.
Coach, going back to matchups, you mentioned Derrick Jones. Is it going to be one of those things where you're going to give him a specific challenge to guard maybe one player, or will it be more of like a flexible switch when you can type of approach?
You want me to share my game plan with you?
Just anything you can say. Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. I said no.
All right, Coach, then I'll ask you one. With the fans, they sold out every game this year.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, the fans just doing that?
Yeah, I think when you talk about the fans, we have the best fans in the league when they come out every night, no matter if it's a Monday or Tuesday. And so to be able to have that support is going to be big, not just in the regular season, but going forward. And we're going to need that in this series.